Okay, this is the fifth and final game of the Open Chess Tournament preparation games for this week. So trying to pick up from the lessons learned from game 1 through to game 4. Familiarization, try and keep it as familiar as possible in terms of opening, mid, end game. So attacking the knight at the minute could get to double the pawns, so again establishing a weakness in the early part of this game. Just trying to open the center up. If they don't open, try and block it down. But again, it's being flexible with how I'm going to end up in the position. I do like to obliterate the center, but it depends on the circumstances. The bishop's out and we can take the pawn off. Like we said, depends on the circumstance and the timing, what I'm going to get from that position. Now getting the queens off the board establishes a transition through into the start of the endgame. And we do have doubled pawns for the opponent, which is a good thing. Again, it's establishing that type of strategical thinking. It's not saying it's winning anything, but it is an element of a weakness if we can try and make it into a strength for us. So bring the knight through. It does have a fork on the bishop and the pawn. Bishop can always come back and defend the pawn. There's no big shakes there. But it's developing and it's giving them something to think about. The rook actually comes up, but now the bishop is going to be getting taken off the board, which is a good thing for us, being able to spot that, because the rook has come down defending the pawn. You never know if you're going to play somebody like this over the board, you know, but I think you just have to be able to play all types of ranges. So now we've slowed down a little bit. What do we want to focus on? Developing, castling, king safety. So nice and steady, safe, don't need to rush anything now. We are a minor piece up, so it's a matter of just developing steadily, trying to block off any attempts that the opponent is going to be bringing into the game, and try and get the calculations as tight as possible in terms of moving towards their king. Their king's not castled at the minute, it's a little bit airy. So instead of developing their other pieces, they've pushed a pawn up, which gives us an attempt to actually give them something to think about, developing the bishop, attacking the rook. So it's avoiding trying to rush anything. Just because I'm an advantage up in terms of material on the board, there's no need to rush anything. Let's look for those hopefully dynamic positions that give us better manageability on the board. So as we've just shown there, just developing the knight. Okay, and again, they've not developed any other pieces, just moving a pawn. So it looks like we're looking to go for the exchange. Got the support from the knight. Just trading down now in this scenario just makes sense, keeping it nice and simple. And they're refusing, so they're attacking the B pawn, but they've landed on our bishop. That stuff can happen definitely, and over the boards as well. But obviously maybe not in the open section of an over the board tournament. But they're still playing on, and they've brought the knight through, which is blocking the bishop at this moment in time. Could look to see if we can get a checkmate type position. If we bring the bishop here onto c2 and then get the rook down onto d1, then that looks like it's going to be a mate. Oh no, it's not. No, it's not, because the king can escape onto f3, f2, sorry. If there was something blocking that way though, that would be interesting. More pawn moves, but they're moving it so the bishop can move. We're doubling up our rooks now to start targeting the king area. Just a bit mindful that the king can actually go to f2. Is there something that can block that way at all? The pawn on f3. Postman. The king moves out of the way, but the pawn on f3, as I was just mentioning, doesn't have any protection on it, as I had noticed. So it does give an element of being able to squish the king that way. So if the rook goes and puts a check on the king, if the king inadvertently came down to e1, then we'd be able to get the checkmate that we were talking about earlier, with the rook coming down onto d1 if the bishop was on c2. So little thoughts like that, that was the tunnel vision aspect of this maneuvers. And they did actually move to e1, which sets that ball rolling for the tunnel visioned calculation that we had made. Didn't look like there was any other issues, because now the f2 square is blocked off and there's nothing that can actually stop the rook from coming down to d or defend the that square. Okay, that's that. So like I've always said, take these games that I'm showing here with a definite pinch of salt. These are not any demonstrations that this is what's going to happen. Over the ball play is totally different.